first call to prayer in Istanbul, with Sophia Hagia blasting away on our left. The time of the call to prayer changes every day depending on where the sun is at the time. It's in a little rooftop bar in Istanbul. Come in, grab something to eat. I'm just looking over Bosphorus and seeing all the boats there, and a few people are rocking in now and just enjoying some dips, and we've got some beautiful kebab food and some calamari as well, so looking forward to that. The big circles with the green and Ottoman writing signifies in every one of those. There's about, I think there's 6 or 7 of them around the whole mosque. In each one of them, the name of Allah and the name of Muhammad, and in some there's also Muhammad's grandchildren. But also, because it's Byzantine, years ago, there's photo drawings of Christ and the Mother Mary and baby Jesus, and when the Byzantine Empire, they first had this and worshipped here, and then when the Ottomans took over it became a mosque, but they decided to respect Christianity, and Eastern Roman emperors were crowned here, and it's very Gothic, but it's a beautiful mosque. A lot of people here, but it's quite an amazing place to be. Up there you can see Mary and Jesus. The carpet was only put down 5 years ago. It used to be stone from when the emperors were crowned here. 5 years ago they decided to put carpet down, and you can't see it from this angle, but before there's a big mosaic of Jesus and Mary up one end, but they cover it because when they're praying they can't be praying. They're praying towards Mecca, and they can't have a visual of people in there. But it's a very respectful mosque of both Christianity and Muslim Islam. In the middle, John the Baptist on his right and Mary on the left. This is what it looked like before it started to fall away. as you can see, there's lots of people coming here. All the women lift your scarf and take all your shoes off when you get down into the praying area. Classic example of Byzantine times, and it became a museum, and that's why they've got both Islam and Christianity together. And it's quite a good, peaceful feeling. You sort of think, well, everyone can live together with all religions. Stuffing through a bit of street food lunch, some grilled corn and some toasted, you think they're hazelnut or walnut or something. Interesting.
Yes, please.
It's the length of the hippodrome. So we just finished the 2 tours of the mosque, which was really amazing, really worth doing. And now we're going to head towards the Bosphorus. And through the spot. We're going to walk through the Grand Bazaar, but this was just a typical Istanbul street. You can see how busy it is. Carpets, kebabs, everywhere.
Good Palace, Anatolia.
Okay.
Come in later on with nice wine, cold beer.
Thank you. So just hawkers on every street corner asking for service, for food, for carpets. It's a lively place. 30 million people live here. You can see how busy the streets are. They're packed. Cars. Meat on a skewer everywhere. People on the street smoking. I don't think I've ever seen so many people smoke in the country before. It's quite a hilly place. You can just smell the fresh meat cooking on every restaurant, just on the smoke, the grill. It smells beautiful. Grand Bazaar in a minute. This is just a little park, concrete park. It's just amazing what I was saying before with the amount of people. 30 million people live in Istanbul. Another big mosque, and you hear all the mosques going off with their call to prayer at same times, but they might be 10 seconds behind each other. They're very polite. There are lots of salesy people trying to get you into their stores for food. There's just a constant smell of food on the street, which is really nice. That smell of grilled smoked meat.
That might be the spice one.
We're just sort of wandering around here at the moment because everything's new. Kebabs. Great sign, free coffee, but it says free Wi-Fi with great coffee.
Yes, chicken kebab, beef kebab, cappuccino express, ice cream.
Grand Bazaar.
So yeah, we're about to enter into the Grand Bazaar. A lot of cats everywhere. The Grand Bazaar is huge. There's entrances everywhere on this block. Security will not come in. Hello. Oh, good. Just gave me a smile and wandered through. So here they sellers everywhere. They all own, want to sell rugs. My uncle, my cousins, leather jackets. We're only 10 foot in. Lots of leather jackets. As soon as you look twice though, they want to come out and sell it to you. But they're very polite, even when you say you don't want anything. They just smile and say to you, have a good day. So it's pretty cool. Made it down to the Bosphorus. It was an amazing experience. Just so many people in the alleyways. There's cruise ships in. This little boat we've seen, they cook the fish. It's a famous boat for fish sandwich. So they cook the fish. I don't know if you can see that clearly. Just cooking the fish and then they pass them over. It's just fish in a bread roll with lettuce, which I'll be having one of these sooner than later.
Buyurun. Ahmet. Oğlum ha. Yok yemedi.
Beautiful.
Hadi gel hadi. Gel abla.
A lot more fishermen on this side. This is all on the Galata Bridge. Not sure if it's bait or whether they just catch these and there's no legal size to There's lots of corn on the street too. Oh, this is what they are catching, these little fellas here. I presume they just take him home and fry him up.
Yukarı geliyor mu?
On the Asian side, fish market, we actually prefer this side. It's more grungier and cheaper than the other side. The other side, the Europe side, is more, I think, more catered for the tourists, which we're one of. But this is, yeah, it's more a local side. Some beautiful fish there. They cook it all on the coals. So we're under the Galata Bridge now, which is just lined with really nice restaurants, white tablecloth restaurants. Everyone hawks you for your business. It's a little bit more expensive than the grungier side, but it looks beautiful, like you can see here. And then your view is just looking over the Bosphorus. It's quite spectacular. Oh, geez, someone's fishing. Dropping a bucket in, get some water. Yeah, but all the restaurants look quite done up and probably a bit, a lot more pricey. But nice, and not too expensive either. Sea bass, which I like, is 9.50 Turkish lira, which is about $32–33, which is, as you get more to the middle of the bridge, it actually becomes a lot more expensive in the middle of the bridge, probably with the best views. This morning we've arrived at the Basilica Cistern, which is not far from the Hippodrome. It's an underdown cistern that it's 1,500 years old. It's quite breathtaking, really. This is the water that supplied the imperial palaces 1,500 years ago, and they've only recently, or the last 30 years, done it up again. But it's you can see the structure, the Roman sort of brickwork with it. There's over 300 columns that hold this up. It's a magnificent piece of engineering where this supplied the water to the palaces and also probably to the people, or the wealthier people anyway. So we're just going down the steps now into the Basilica Cistern. One of the first things that came to my mind here with Queens of the Stone Age are playing at the Paris Catacombs. I'm thinking this could be another place that would suit the Queens of the Stone Age. So we paid about €60 to get in here with a guide on our phone. It takes your breath away, really, to think this is 1,500 years old, and how the engineering to get this done and how it works really is amazing.
It's dripping on me. It's wet. It's raining.
There's drops of water coming down on Catherine's head. The Istanbul waterways, longest Roman water supply line. This is the Basilica system.
The following question might come to mind.
Shut me now.
Why were columns with such detailed workmanship made for a cistern that would remain underground for so few people to see? Most of the columns were collected from ancient buildings, just like in Hagia Sophia. In other words, most of the materials used in the cistern date back to much older times than the cistern itself. The reason for reusing materials in this way was to save time and money. Since the 8 columns in front of the northeast wall towards the center of the cistern were exposed to danger of breakage during a repair in 1955 through 1960, each of them was fortified with a thick layer of concrete and therefore lost their old characteristics. Under many columns in the cistern, you'll see a few signs. If you look carefully, you'll realize that these are letters used by Byzantium at the time. These letters were the signatures of the craftsmen who built the columns. The number of columns built by the craftsmen was recognized by these signatures.
You can see on some of the columns there's different faces. One of Medusa, who is a protector of the cistern, the water. This column here, you can actually see the lights have gone out here dimmed, but it's Roman writing on these columns. You're dating back 1500 years ago. Different emperors that came in and tidied it up and done different things, but it's quite spectacular to see what man could do all those years ago. Different tour groups are coming now. We sort of had it to ourselves a bit at the start, but school groups are in and it's getting a bit louder and a bit busier, but it's definitely worth doing. It's amazing to see these columns and we're in just a little Turkish restaurant, just having morning tea with a baklava and a Turkish coffee and a lemon juice, which is a funny colour for lemon, but it tastes like lemon, and traditional dressing. And there's a lady over there before just cooking some bread just in the window, rolls that handmade, cooks in the window, but it's beautiful, very Turkish flavoured for sure. So we've just entered the Topkapi Palace, which is bigger than the Vatican. It's green, birds. You can imagine the sultans from the Ottoman Empire living here. We've only just started the tour, but the grounds are incredible. There's our group with a group of 5.
Not Turkey anymore. This church, what is this? This is Hagia Irini. Hagia Sophia, Hagia Irini. Hagia Sophia, Hagia Irini. Hagia Sophia means holy wisdom. Hagia Irini means holy peace. So peace and wisdom right next to each other. And now those parrots are living the oldest church in Istanbul. There's no minarets. There are no minarets because this was the only church in Istanbul have never been converted into a mosque after the conquest by the Ottomans. But unfortunately, the Ottomans didn't use it as a church. They used it as an arsenal to deposit their guns and their weapons and their shields. Baklavas, the most famous one. I hope you tried one.
We're just entering. This is the kitchen of the palace. There's 5 rooms. They cooked all their meals. 1 room for dessert, 1 room for the meat. All different meals and rooms.
This is the area they prepare the perfumes and soaps and sleeping beds.
Yes.
They serve you with a very small cup and water right next to you. There's some coffee beans inside of the cup. When you finish, you need to drink the water to clean your mouth.
There'd be 200 women in the harem would stay for 9 years, and then another 200 would come in after 9 years for the sultan. These are all the utensils. So this is where their parliament of the palace met, and that secret window up there, the sultan could listen in on what they were talking about, and they wouldn't know that he'd be listening. But all the decisions were made in here.
Every wall in the room. Okay, from now on, you're just gonna see a Turkish art. It's like a porcelain. It's cooked clay in the oven, basically, and painted. Okay, and this entrance is the entrance of the harem. You see different rows. This is marble one for the humans. This is the chunk one for the horses. For the horse of the sultan, you just in outside and inside. These are all fake windows. What is fake window? When I open this, there's another wall is waiting for me. So that girls cannot look out and no men cannot check the ladies from outside. Otherwise, imagine all the generals will watch lady from outside. To prevent this, to keep it more height, they build the fake windows everywhere. But still, it looks like a normal room, nice wide. And the shapes are so soft. This art known as sedef. In blue mold, you see, I don't need to repeat myself, but what is essential? Just look up, just check the dome, all the pendants, the curves, the arches, every flower detail in the yellow color you see made by gold. But now, unfortunately, we are all looking at the fake ones. All the real ones in the collections right now. Especially the dome, the edges of the dome. How many kilograms of gold? Rock. Not even painting, just the solid gold. All the art. This is the most luxury room. This was the family meeting room, Imperial Hall. But what kind of family? Let's remember. 5 top 10 sitting in the left. 5 other 10 sitting in the right. Ladies.
So we're completing the final tour of the Topkapi Palace, which has been truly amazing. These 10 rooms you can see here are the top 10 concubines for the Sultan. They just walk around, prance around here all day. They each have a 3-story bedroom. That balcony up there is where the Queen Mother resides, and she'd watch over them during the day, and then she would choose which one who would go and visit the Sultan in the rooms we've just been. This is the view you can see over Istanbul from here. You can see that, I don't know if you can see from here, but the Galata Tower looking over Istanbul. Just finished our tour of the Topkapi Palace, and just finishing where the Sultan would be able to come and stand and look over Istanbul. Obviously not as many buildings, but this is a magnificent view. I don't know if you can see in the background the Bosphorus Bridge. That's the connection between Europe and Asia, that big bridge. So we're looking across to the Asian continent. We're on the European continent now. And just all the boats out on the water, which we're planning to go on a trip tomorrow out on the water. It's about 5 degrees, beautiful day. Amazing city, Istanbul. We've just had the 3-hour tour, and I've learned so much about the Ottoman Empire in 3 hours, and I would ever get to understand. It was just amazing to hear all about the sultans and how they lived, and to see the sultans in luxury and how brutal they were as well to protect their empire. Amazing. walking home now. Oh, some geraniums. Beautiful. We're turning the corner, heading home. People on the street out eating. Oh, there's the Blue Mosque lit up at night. That is spectacular. We went to the Blue Mosque 2 days ago and did a tour. But seeing it at night lit up was just extraordinary. We're going to head over towards the Blue Mosque now. We live only, well, staying 500 metres away from the Blue Mosque, which is pretty cool. Just got to be careful of all the cabs. Could get hit by the cabs, but so this is Istanbul, right at the Hippodrome. That looks so good. The crowds have definitely dispersed from this afternoon. There was heaps of people here. It's probably about 9 o'clock now. Call to prayer, the 8:30 call to prayer has been, and which is extraordinary in itself because each mosque do their call to prayer at different times. Depending on the sun, so there's 3 seconds to one, another 3 seconds to another, and it just keeps going, so you're constantly hearing the call to prayer. But that is really beautiful to look at. I don't know if you can see right up the end there, that's the Hagia Sophia lit up. You might go for a stroll up there as well. Just another fantastic day in Istanbul. Met some good people and learnt a bit about their culture, and he was a Kurdish guy and talked about his struggles in his life with their being Kurdish, and so I'm blown away by this mosque. During the day, this the old Hippodrome is packed with tour groups and people. Yeah, fantastic. So we've finally arrived at the famous landmark Galata Tower. Lots of restaurants and lots of people and tourists around. It's a fairly grungy little area. We're going to go up to that tower. I don't know if you can see up the top, but they say the views once you get up the top are quite stunning of all of Istanbul, so we'll go up there and have a look. So we've found a little rooftop bar again. They're all rooftop bars here. It's probably just gone 1 o'clock and the call to prayer is ringing through Istanbul. The boats on the Bosphorus. Just boarded a boat. We're doing a Bosphorus boat tour for an hour and a half. Selling coffees and teas on the boat. We're 5 minutes till we head off, go away. So we're at the Galata Bridge, and then we head towards the Bosphorus Bridge. As you can see, all the background, the mosque, which is quite spectacular, famous setting for Istanbul. So we're heading, I think, down north, and then we're going to head back. So it's an hour and a half. So you see basically Istanbul from the water, which we had a view yesterday at a restaurant across the water, which is pretty cool. So yeah, tourists are on here early, and I think you get a free coffee as well, so might grab one of those. So yeah, here we go, heading off down the Bosphorus into Istanbul. The cafes under the Galata Bridge. It's an expensive drink and food area, but it's a great spot. You just sit out there on the deck and you can look at all the boats and going, and you can see the Galata Tower in the background. Just going on the bridge now, and over there was where we had our lunch the other day, across the Bosphorus into Istanbul. There's just constant boats on the water everywhere, taking people. There's more restaurants over the back there. Galata Tower, people already up there on the tower looking over Istanbul. So only people in the morning sun sit on the other side of the bridge, and then in the evening when the sun starts to set, they sit on the other side. We went up there to the Galata Tower yesterday, that you can see in the distance, the highest skyline in Istanbul, where conquering was taking place by Sultan Mehmet. Yeah, it's actually a really nice spot up there. It's quite European. Lots of embassies up there as well. So I don't know if it's probably the wealthier spot, but there's a lot of backpackers up there as well, so it was pretty cool, trendy sort of place. See trains crossing over the bridge at the same time. People just walk, you can walk across, car across, train across. So that's, yeah, your city of Istanbul, all back 30 million people. Like I said before, I don't think I've seen so many crowds of people. So this is just a good way on the water to see Istanbul without having to do the miles and the legs, which we've done plenty of so far. Looks like there's a lot of high class type of restaurants coming up here. The Hotel de Rive, not that they mean anything to me. The Marriott's coming up, so I'd say this is where people with some money would be staying in these places right on the waterfront. Pools, luxury. Sort of gives you a really good idea on how Istanbul is made up. Behind me before I was showing you the mosque and the old town, and we're going to go to the Grand Bazaar and Spice Market again later. But here is your probably newer part and just rich hotels for the rich, so which is quite spectacular. They look awesome. There's just rows and rows. It goes for, I'm just looking down here now, kilometres of luxury hotels. Most of the places in Istanbul have rooftop bars because it's such a hilly terrain here. So everyone has got a rooftop bar, and you can always get a view somewhere. So yeah, it's quite spectacular. Coming up, there's just mosques everywhere, minarets, just here's the skyline. Another beautiful day here in Istanbul. It's about 27 degrees. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. So we're going under the Bosphorus looking back, there's just moss, and I don't know how far you can see back, but there's just people, accommodations, restaurants, boats, tours. It's a really buzz city. Lots of people, lots of tourists, big ships coming in, lots of palaces, and the old sultans, lots of boats travelling. It was the history of Istanbul, how popular the port was for people who were trading, and it became a city that everyone wanted to conquer. Constant tea men walking around everywhere with tea, and it costs about $1 a tea. Tea everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's just people running around with plates and tea, and that's how people are really innovative on how they make their money, I suppose, and they need to survive. It's a beautiful day here in Istanbul. 27, a lot cooler on the water. It's just making it for a nice hour and a half tour, which cost, it was only 12 Australian dollars each to do it. So yeah, worth every cent of it. We weren't that fussed whether we do it or not, but yeah, it's definitely worth. The restaurants, they just line the sea, rooftop bars up there. There's that flag, that is huge. Biggest flag I've seen. We're in the spice market in Istanbul. This is a famous market. This is where all the spices from the Middle East came through and people traded. You can see the ceiling and all the people looking at jewellery. It's a really strong smell of spice in here, and lots of Turkish coffees, green apples, lots of Turkish delight, which is famous here. You can see lots of food, lots of spices everywhere. Pure Iranian sasol. Best quality Turkish delight, Hazababa. This is not the same as the Grand Bazaar, which we're going to later. Grand Bazaar is huge. This is looks like it's more just one place under all that cover. Yeah, the smells lovely with all the spices. Today's prayer day. Just had the call to prayer. People washing before they go in and do their prayer. We're heading up to the Grand Bazaar to get one of the famous kebabs cooked with wood fire. So we've just come out of the Grand Bazaar and headed to a little kebab shop. It had a beautiful kebab. It was actually really pricey though, which surprised me. But I think it's because of the area we're in at the moment. We're sort of in a more expensive area with the Grand Bazaar. You can see over the road there. It's a day of call to prayer, but they can't all get in, so they're just outside praying. There'd be 20 a row. So the mosque must be packed. So we're going to head back to where we come from, which is about a 10-minute walk from here.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا